Let's begin. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Rodney's Life Lessons. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start when I had my accident at 19 years old, in which I ended up losing my right arm at the elbow. So I was 19. I was intoxicated. I was driving my motorcycle at high speeds, and I lost control on a corner and hit the end of a bridge head on. When you have a really serious accident, your body sort of shuts out the pain. You go into a shock of sorts. And the EMS, the paramedics, arrived on scene, and I was in bad shape. I was really busted up badly. And they were working on me frantically, and I could literally feel my life slipping away. I told the paramedics, I said, I'm dying. And I did. I literally died. And you know how they show in the movies? I zipped out of my body. I came flying up. And then I was confronted by what I call the shiny blackness. It's sort of like when you're dreaming, and you know it's you, but you can be any form, but it's still you. That essence of you is still there, that soul, that consciousness. This was like what it is when you die. I'll touch more on this later in another video. So I had separated from my body, and this was initially a very terrifying experience. And my understanding of why is because we lose all connection with those five senses that navigate us through life. You disconnect from that, and now you're just your soul, your spark, your essence. And then I broke through, and I was standing with Creator, God, however you want to call it. And Creator was on my right side, sort of holding my, just to show you folks, I do not have a left arm anymore, and that is because of this very accident. So Creator's on my right side, and we're standing on this huge cliff overlooking this huge sort of cylinder tube that goes off in either directions as far as you can see, and it's just absolutely massive and translucent. And inside of this, I can see these lights zipping around back and forth, and this was told to me is called the collective. When we go to sleep, when we die, we enter this collective. It's like if you go to sleep with an impossible dream and you wake up with an answer, how did that happen? We enter the collective and see Alpha and the Omega from beginning to end. All souls are there. We don't die. Our energy, it's like John Lennon, we just change vehicles. We literally do. I was told a few more things, and it was agreed upon more or less that if you go back, you have a mission to do. You have a job. And I believe I'm now stepping fully into this mission, into this job. A Reiki master, life coach, healer, shaman in training, and many other aspects. I then came back, and I was in the back of an ambulance with a sheet over my head. I had died. I tried pulling the sheet down with my right arm, which didn't work. It never did again, ever. So I reached up with my left arm, and I pulled the sheet down. And I said, hey, what about me? And they came back, and they attended to me. They then rushed us to, this was a small town called Port McNeill, small hospital. They rushed us to the local airport, which was 30 miles away, and they used a jet and brought us down to Vancouver, Canada. I'm Canadian, and I was in the hospital for 5 months, and then there. And when I first came around after the initial shock, they were operating on me, and they had a sheet way up really high, and I forced myself up, and I looked over that sheet, and I saw my right arm. And I said, I fell back, and I knew I'd never use my right arm again. It was just hamburger. And it's called a brachial plexus injury. The nerves were physically ripped right out of the spinal cord. which is sort of the death of the arm, because even if there was, a half a millimeter left, the nerves have memory. It would have grown all the way back and I would have got control of my arm again, but I never did. And 6 years after that, I had my arm amputated because it just hung and it was all badly scarred up, and it was really of no use. And then I got a prosthetic, which never really helped much because I have no ability to move my arm. They can do what's called myoelectric, where they put pads and you flex a muscle and it picks it up and it can move it. I don't have any of that, so it wasn't able to move the arm ever again. And that started me on a path of healing, because I experienced what's called phantom limb pain. And my right hand hurt like it was in a vice, like excruciating, worse than broken bone pain. There's a big book on it, and it's very, very hard to treat. But because of that, I've sought, my health. They had me on 16 pills a day to try and combat that pain, and very often you take one pill and you take 2 other pills to counter the side effects of the first pill. So it's just, you get toxic, you really do. And so I got to a point in my life where I stopped taking all medication. I changed my diet, I became vegan, I cut out sugar. There's an important fact that 1 molecule of sugar requires 27 molecules of magnesium to process. 1 molecule of refined sugar requires 57 molecules of magnesium to process. The majority of the population, 90-95% of the population, is magnesium deficient. This causes all sorts of underlying health issues. And with me personally, if I have a salad dressing and it's loaded with sugar, it's like my arm hurts so bad, my stump. So this is good though, because sugar they wanted to label like cigarettes, calling it white death. So because of these things, because of this accident, it has put me on the path. It's called the shaman's path. It's very hard, and there's very full of trials and tribulations. And it is this way so you can know what it's like, so you can help other people through the same situation. Shaman's path is not the romantic, woo-woo thing that a lot of the modern spiritual community claim it to be. This is a hard path. This is one of pain and suffering, because you have to be able to overcome that before you can help others. So this was my motorcycle accident, 1986, at the age of 19, and where I lost my right arm. My right leg was broken, the femur. I still have a pin that runs from the knee to the hip. The lower part of the leg was badly broken. I had pins in 6 locations joined with hardware because a cast, it was too mushed up the bones and it held it in place, which was not fun, because when I got that taken off, he took all the hardware off and there was these 6 pins remaining, long pins right into the bone, screwed right into the bone. And he gave me a shot of Demerol and he says, "Now Rodney, don't scream and scare the other patients." And he hooked up a hand drill and started screwing them out. And boy, oh boy, did that ever hurt. So I've had a life of pain, and it's made me who I am today. I'm a Reiki master, I'm a vegan, and I strive to help other people. I hope this conveys a little bit of what I went through on the accident that has made me the man that I am today. Again, if you like this video, please subscribe, comment, and share. Take care, everyone.